We are the law of the land.
What is up, you heathens and demons, you sinners and saints, you beautiful, blasphemous bastards? Welcome back to The Rage. Today, we're going to be talking about fascism again and the definition of it. Fascism, a political philosophy, movement, or regime, such as that of the fascisti, that exalts nation and often race above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of opposition. That, my friends, is the definition of fascism. Now, I know those of you that are on the right don't understand fascism, so I'm going to help you out, and I'm going to show you why I call your orange cult leader a fascist. So let's break that down. A political philosophy, movement, or regime.
Every one of them that fought for our country is ashamed of you.
Tempers flare.
You're a pussy. So you talk to me, I'm gonna talk to you.
Then don't talk.
We call ourselves the Boogaloo.
So-called Boogaloo Boys, a group of hardcore anti-government libertarians with a dark vision for the future of America.
It's unfortunate that it will turn to war, but it seems that that's the only way.
The forgotten men and women of America will be forgotten no longer. That is the heart of this new movement and the future of the Republican Party.
That exalts nation. And what does that mean? That's uber nationalism. That is nationalism to the extreme. Nationalism as an ideology. And Trump, well, he's had no problems telling you that that is him.
I've never even heard that. I cannot imagine that. You mean, I say, I'm a nationalist. No, I never heard that theory about being a nationalist. I've heard them all. But I'm somebody that loves our country.
Under Republican leadership, America is winning again. America is respected again because we are putting America first. We're putting America first. It hasn't happened in a lot of decades. We're putting them first. We're taking care of ourselves for a change, folks. But radical Democrats want to turn back the clock. The rule of corrupt, power-hungry globalists. You know what a globalist is, right? You know what a globalist is. A globalist is a person that wants the globe to do well, frankly, not caring about our country so much. It sort of became old-fashioned. It's called a nationalist. And I say, really, we're not supposed to use that word. You know what I am? I'm a nationalist, okay? I'm a nationalist.
And often race above the individual. And we screamed it in 2016. We tried to tell the people on the right that this was a racist. Plenty of evidence of it. And he's given us even more evidence since he's been president. But don't take my word for it.
Tonight,
what are you doing?
Outrage across the country.
Do you agree that we need to take care of those children?
We are taking care of those children. Your tax...
From town halls to Capitol Hill.
Child internment camps, that's what I said.
As the Trump administration's zero-tolerance immigration policy comes under fire. It was voices like this little girl's, heard in a recording, first obtained by ProPublica, that provided a glimpse into the consequences of the directive issued in April. cages, chain link fences, shown in these images released by U.S. Customs and Border Protection of one of the largest processing centers. This one housing more than 1,000 immigrants, many of them children. Those migrants wrapped in Mylar blankets to stay warm. Some families could be separated here or at another facility.
And I'll say it very honestly, and I'll say it very straight. Immigration is the fault in all of the problems that we're having, because we cannot get them to sign legislation. We cannot get them even to the negotiating table. And I say it's very strongly the Democrats' fault. They're they're really obstructionist, and they are obstructing. The United States will not be a migrant camp, and it will not be a refugee holding facility. Won't be. You look at what's happening in Europe, you look at what's happening in other places, we can't allow that to happen to the United States, not on my watch. This could really be something very special. It could be something maybe even for the world to watch.
And that stands for a centralized, autocratic government. And what does an autocratic government mean? Well, it means where the dictator has absolute power.
What authority do you Well, I have the ultimate authority. The President of the United States has the authority to do what the President has the authority to do, which is very powerful.
Has any governor agreed that you have the authority to decide when their state
I haven't
opens
asked
back up?
anybody, because I don't, you know why? Because I don't have to. When somebody's the President of the United States, the authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be.
Your authority is total.
It's total. It's total.
Your authority
And the
is
governors
total.
know that.
So if
The governors know that. Now,
Headed by a dictatorial leader. I know you won't take my word for it. That's why I'm giving you the words of your cult leader. Maybe you'll believe him.
We've just had to run about a block as police moved in. We've been fired at with rubber bullets. My cameraman has been hit. We've also seen tear gas being used. Here we go, they're moving through again. This is exactly what it looks like.
Press, let's go. Press, let's go. Come on. Guys, we gotta go.
But in recent days, our nation has been gripped by professional anarchists, violent mobs, arsonists, looters, criminals, rioters, Antifa, and others, to deploy the National Guard in sufficient numbers that we dominate the streets. If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
Severe economic and social regimentation. And since the moment he's taken office, we have seen this. We have seen him prop up the oligarchy. We have seen him prop up his own business interest above the nation. We have seen him give the rich their tax holiday, making their lives easier while we struggle here in the dirt.
We want to give you, the American people, a giant tax cut for Christmas.
And American companies are set to get a rather large present this year. The tax that they pay government is set to be reduced from 35% to 21%. Big savings. There's definitely a gift for the most wealthy, people who pay the top tax rate, because that's been brought down by more than 2%. And analysis shows the lowest income bracket will benefit the least.
Enforceable suppression of opposition. And this should be a red flag to any American. But liberals and those of us on the left have been demonized for so long that these fascists now, well, they find it easy to hate us. And when they have their dictator threatening to throw us in prison, threatening to throw Joe Biden, who leads in the polls, an average of 10 to 16 points nationally, demanding that his opposition be thrown in prison. Well, that is fascism.
Hillary called them deplorable. They're not deplorable. Unless Bill Barr indicts these people for crimes, the greatest political crime in the history of our country, then we're going to get little satisfaction unless I win, and we'll just have to go, because I won't forget it. But these people should be indicted. This was the greatest political crime in the history of our country, and that includes Obama, and it includes Biden.
Consideration is being given to declare an Antifa, the gutless radical left whack jobs who go around hitting only non-fighters, people over the heads with baseball bats, Smokey Saint, a major organization of terror, along with MS-13 and others, would make it easier for police to do their job.
Fox News contributor. And John, the president has officially labeled Antifa domestic terrorists.
So, my right-leaning fascist friends, when your cult leader comes out and tells you he's a fascist, and then comes out and declares the ideology that stands in opposition of fascism, Antifa, an enemy of the people and a terrorist organization, well, I think you should listen to him. And if you're going to actively follow a fascist, that makes you a fascist.